So let's continue now. 3 data frame using CSV or Excel file present in the system. So for that class, what I will do now? Let us take a CSV file. Okay, I've shared one CSV file with all of you over chat. See it once. Okay, now what I will do? I will use this file just like we covered in file handling. So file can be present in the same folder. If it is present in the same folder as the code, then I just need to mention the file name. If it is present in some other folder, then I have to mention the entire path. So just to make things easier, I am just copying it in the same folder for now. Okay, now you can see class, it is a CSV file that is basically comma separated values. Now, see, it is a CSV file. What happens? Let me show you. Let me open this file in Notepad. See this class. The data here is present in comma separated format. Okay, name, comma team member, team, comma number, comma position, and so on. Okay, it is present in comma separate format. That is why it is called a CSV file. Now, what happens? Well, let's say there is a CSV file. So, what will happen if you open that CSV file in Notepad? Obviously, it will show you as comma separate values. But if you open the file in an Excel, so what will Python do? What will Excel do? Excel will, wherever there is a comma, it will segregate them into separate columns. Okay, so that is why it is called as CSV, comma separated value. So now I am opening a CSV file into the system. You can see it is present in the same folder here. So now I will write here class what df is equal to pd dot read underscore CSV and the file name. nb.csv. So you can see it is reading the entire data frame, entire file, Excel file, all 57 rows and 9 columns into the Python code. Suppose let's say there is an Excel file. So what you can do in that case? Some variable pd.read underscore Excel and nb.xlsx file format of Excel file. You can do this if it is an Excel file. If it is a CSV file, then you use read underscore CSV. Okay, now let me show you one thing, class. If you see here, data is basically present in like only 10 data records is visible to you, right? Only 10 of them are visible. So what we can do, class, if you want to see all of them, pd.set underscore option display.max underscore rows. Okay, by default, now the value of this is 10. So I'll convert this into none. Once this is done, now I will show the data frame again. You can see it is showing you the entire data. See, all the rows, everything it is showing you. Got this, class, everyone till here? Okay, by default it takes 10. If you don't make the changes, 10 means 10 data records. Here you can see I will change it to 10 again. Okay, now if I show you data frame, So you can see it will show you first 5 records and last 5 records. Okay, but if you want to see all of them, then change it to none. And basically will make sure that you're able to see all the data records present in the data frame. Clear class so far? So let's continue now. Now there is one more way class. Here class C by default. Now what happens here? You can see it is showing us 10 records only. First 5 and last 5, right? It is showing dot 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 in between if you can see. Okay, now if I change that to none, okay, there is a setting here in Pandas. But in that setting, if I change this 10 to none, so Python will start showing you all the data records. See, it is showing us all of them. The entire table is getting entire table got loaded into Python memory. Okay, here also entire table got loaded, but it is showing just the 10 of them. Clear class till here or not? How much is, are you asking about this, Mahesh? Siddhesh? Clear class till here? Explain what, Imran? Is there any way to export this data after data frame? See what happens by default in Pandas, there is one setting. It will show you only 10 records by default. Okay, so here you can see by default 10 records, it will show you 5 records from the starting, 5 records from the end. But if you want to see more or maybe all of them, then in that case you can mention none. So 10, so that is the default setting, but in place of that you can mention none. So you can see now it is showing you the entire table. I'm coming to data, Abhishek. Okay. Now suppose class, let's say you have some CSV file already present. Okay, some data frame. Let's suppose we have this data frame with us. B. Okay, and I want to create a data from this. So I can write here B dot to underscore CSV. Okay, and the file name that I want to create. Suppose let's say I want to create b.csv. Okay, so you can see it got run. Since I've mentioned just the file name, so you can see b.csv will be stored in the same folder as code. See. ABC152, this got this class. Okay. Now class, there is one more thing. Let's suppose the data is present somewhere on the internet. Okay, let me show you. Okay. Suppose there is some data which is present on the internet, but it should be present in CSV format, then only this code will work. Suppose this is there, but here you can see it is showing .csv, but this is not a CSV format. There are other things as well. If I click on here view raw, give it a minute. You can see this is class CSV file format. Comma separate data is there now. What I will do, I will just copy this link and here write entire link. It will take a minute. It is very heavy. So now you can see class. There are approximately 75,000 data records in this CSV. Okay, you could have done one more thing. You could have like maybe downloaded it from here. Okay, download raw file and then use read_csv to fetch the file, or you can just directly, since we were able to open that in CSV format, that is why we can just take this directly. Clear class, everyone's class still here? Now let us see class indexing in data frames. Okay. Now it is two-dimensional data, right? So indexing can be done in two ways. From two okay, suppose class this data frame is there. Now if I write here class df name, so you can see it will give me the entire column df name. Now this is called as single column indexing. Now one more thing that I can do is I can do multi-column indexing if I need multiple columns. Give me a minute class. Just let me show you something. Suppose this is there. And if I show you type of A, you can see it will show a series. I told you that each and every column of a data frame individually is a series. Okay. I don't know, like I just showed that na earlier. Here also we wrote df. If you want to see all the rows of name column, then change the setting. It is showing only 10, no? Now class single column indexing, it will give you a series in the output. But suppose let's say if I pass a list here, so I will get a data frame in the output. Same thing, but in a data frame format. Okay, I can take multiple columns also in this manner. Name, age, salary. You can see it is giving us those three columns that we want. It is creating a separate data frame. If you want, you can store it separately in some other variable. Let's say b is equal to. Got this class till here? So this is a column indexing. Now suppose class, let's say this data frame is there and I write df0. It will not work. It will throw error. What happens class? By default, it will take columns only. So what I can do, I can use there is something called as lock method. So I can write df.lock location basically, and I can mention 0. This is called as single row indexing. You can see it is giving us data in a series format. Okay, but see, these are of the first person, Avery Bradley, Boston Celtics 0.0, PG, and so on. Okay, but if I do multi-column and multi-row indexing, so I can add df.loc and pass a list. Now I will get a data frame. df.loc 0, 57, 123, 50. So you can see it is giving us those rows which we have, for which we have mentioned the index. Remember, you have to mention the index, then only it will give you the rows. Only those rows. Clear till here, class? So this is basically your induction. Now you can do slicing also here, class, if you want to. Same method, df.loc 4:12. अच्छा, इसमें ना what happens, your 12 is included. The 12 is included. Clear, class, till here? Okay, there is one more thing that you can do. df.head. Okay, if you don't mention any argument here, it will give you the first 5 records. But suppose, let's say you want first 5. Head means top में, like first 5 records. If you mention, let's say 12, so you can see it is giving you first 10 से कम कर लेते हैं अभी के लिए 8. You can see first 8 records it is giving you. Mahesh, I will explain that in a while. This is multi-column indexing, Rahil. Ranjit, yes, you can give step value also. Vishal, because it is Pandas, not core Python. But there is one more way in which it goes till n-1 if you follow the core Python way. Let me show you. Suppose, let's say this data frame, we are using LOC method now. So that is why it is going till n. But if I write here df.loc, not loc, just ये क्या था 4:12. So in this case, you can see 12 is not included. Here, this was your LOC method. This is your direct core Python. Okay. So we saw head class. Head is basically giving us what? Top records, like records in the, not top. Top means like records from the beginning. Gaurav, when we are doing row indexing, that you have to use a LOC. Okay, just like head class, there is one more thing that is your tail. If I don't mention anything, it will give me last 5 records. See, but if I mention, let's say I just need 2 records, so it will give me 2 records. Clear, class, till here? Tail हो गया, head हो गया. Then there is one more thing, class, called as sample. See, sample में what happens is every time you run sample, it will give you randomly one record from the entire data frame. But try trial. Okay, but if I write here class df dot sample some number, let's say 5. So in this case, you can see it will give me 5 random records from the entire data frame. By default, it will give us 1. Any program to type continuous data as ID. What do you mean by ID? What is the ID number to see? Clear class so far? Any program to type continuous data as ID. I'm not getting what you're asking. You can simply use a for loop for I in range. Like you want to go till 10 from 1. So it is splitting continuously. What exactly you're asking, I'm not getting. If you're asking this, then yeah, that's the answer. Clear class so far? Okay, so this we have seen. Now let me show you one more thing, class. What happens now? Rather than lock is basically used to fetch data based on index. See, column 2 you can directly mention df name like this, df name like this, right? But in case of your row indices, in that case we use lock method. Okay, so df.log 0, you can see it is giving us a 0 row completely. If I give it double brackets, then it will give us data frame in the output of the first row. Same manner, we can get fetch multiple rows also by mentioning their index in the lock method. Lock method can be used to do slicing also. Raj, seriously, you're not getting this for 96? Huh? This is for loop. Can you specify, Raj, what exactly you're not getting in this code? Ranjit, that is called as filtering. I will cover that in a while. Okay. So let's proceed now. Sample, tail, all these things I've covered. Then the small things are there, df dot and df dot d types. So it'll give you the data types of all of them. So one more thing, class, if you see actually the data frame now, So you will find in some places it is written NaN. See NaN here, NaN here. So NaN basically means missing data. So here you can see class, we don't have the salary of John Holland. We don't have the salary of John Holland. That is why it is giving us NaN value here. Okay. Now, suppose class, let's say you want to fetch this particular data J Crowder. So you can do row and column indexing both. Okay, and whichever sequence you can, up to you. Okay, suppose let's say I am writing df name. First I will do the column indexing, and then on that, see it is giving me a series. On that I will use the doc method, doc1. So see it is giving me J Crowder. If you want to fetch a particular data from this data frame, you can write it like this. The same code can also be written as df.log1 and then name. First row indexing and then column indexing. Okay, now class this data frame is there. What I can do, there is something called as info. So you can see it is giving us info of the non-null, like multiple information it is giving us. Data types, okay, plus non-null count. Non-null count means that how much actual data is present in the data frame. Okay, excluding the null data. For example, here in the salary column, you can see there is some null data present here. Okay, college column, maybe there is some null data present. Okay, so it is giving us non-null data. So you can see in the college column, there is 373 non-null data. That means 457, that is the entire length. 457 minus 373. That is what? Basically your null data. 457 minus 373. That means we don't have the college information for. Wait, let me show you. There is one more thing, we have not count. This also gives you count of non-null observations. This is there. Now class, if I write here length of df minus df dot count. So you can see for 84 people, for 84 players, we don't have their college data. For 11 players, we don't have their salary data. Okay. But one more thing class that we follow in data analysis, we don't talk about numbers. Like as individual, we take numbers of percentage. Okay. 84 of how much? Okay, basically that is there. So what I can do, I can divide this entire thing by length of df into 100. So see, in the college column, 18% data is missing. For this class, since this is small ds, what do you mean by ds? For data structure, data science, what? Data set, acha. Since this is small data set, we know it is from name COI as a column. But if we don't know the field name and then we have to find some specific value, you can run a for loop on all the columns. Na? You can run a for loop on all the columns. Prabha and Sriparna, tell me one thing. Have I completed pandas? Is pandas complete from my end? We're doing it right currently. So instead of asking me those questions which I've not yet covered, at least focus on what I'm covering as of now. Once I say that Pandas is complete, and then if you feel that I have not covered something, then ask that, then it is completely fine. Okay, one thing that you can do, Gaurav, there is a function called as df dot columns. Okay, so it will give you all the columns. So what you can do if you want to fetch a particular element in that, or if you don't know, suppose let's say, see, let me show you. Suppose let's say I want to check whether J Crowder, let's say J Crowder is there in the name column or not. So how will I check? We can use membership operator. So df name, I can write J Crowder in this. It is giving us false. What is the issue with name? Name is correct, no? See J Crowder. No, spacing is also correct. This should work, no? Gaurav, is it working in your system? J Crowder in DF name. DF name is a series. Membership operator, as far as I remember, it works. Okay, so then we will know na if it is present where. Obviously, it will work in that case. See, if it is a variable, then don't use parenthesis, Mahesh. If it is a function, then use parenthesis. Acha, that is stored in object format possibly, but that should not be the case. I guess so. Let me try one thing, plus. See what we can do now. Suppose df name is there. So you can convert that into a list also using toList, like I showed you in case of array also. So now I can do this in this way. It is giving us true now. Okay, why it is? I just give me some time. Okay, maybe asking the next session. I will check once why it is not working in case of series. Maybe I am missing out something. Clear class till here? Data time problem might be there, Raj, here. I think, right? I think so. See, here what I have done is df.count. Now, see, df.count basically gives us number of non-null observations. Okay. All of you got this now, 103, right? So what I did, I just subtracted the entire thing from the length of df. So now I am getting of null observations. Okay. I know that I know I have data of 373 people. I know that the total data is 457. Okay, so if I subtract total minus what? Total minus number of data present. So it will give me number of data not present. Okay, and divide by the total value. So it is giving me the percentage. Got this now? Hundred six I explained, no? Rohit. How to filter only string data type from DataFrame? String you cannot do. Object you can do. Percentage of null value, not non-null. I'm subtracting now. df.count will give me non-null value. After subtraction, I will get null value. For float, you can do. Let me remember. I don't remember exactly. Just give me a minute. I think it is df.select underscore d types float. See. It is returning all those columns in which data is present in float format. This is what you are expecting, I guess, Raj. Yes, Rahul, you can use that also. I will cover that later on. Is null also I will cover. I will cover there is a separate topic for that. Handling of missing data, so I will cover that. So similarly, you can, whichever you want to see, you can do. Okay, let's continue now. This is done. This is done. Achha, I was talking about this. Okay. So you don't know, you want to check in the entire data frame. So what you can do, suppose you want to check that every Bradley is present in which column and in which, if it is present in the entire data frame or not. For column in df.columns, print call. So I'll get all the columns one by one. So simply I will write what? If this in df call dot to list print call. See, really you have to convert it to to list also. I showed you just now. It was not working directly on D1 name, no? Height is present in object format. See now, df.d types. Height data is present in object format. It cannot show you in float format. Try to understand the problem. See, this data frame is there, class. Actually, see the height. So first thing is it is saying 6-2. So obviously this cannot be a float. It will be object only. Second thing, you cannot typecast also height data into your float format. Reason for that is, provided the data is present in your fit and inch format. Okay, so in that, why is that? Okay, suppose let's say 6-2 height is there. Sorry, 6-1 height is there. Okay, 6.10 is there. Basically 10 inch. Okay, and 6.11 is there, and 6.2 is there. Okay, so what will do? What will Python do? Python will convert 6.10 to 6.1. Are you getting the problem, class? So 6 foot 1 inch and 6 foot 10 inch will be same. for Python. Okay, plus 6.11. Okay, will basically Python will take 6.11 as less than 6.2. Got the problem? Plus, if we store this data in float format, at least respond. Calculation, Mahesh, won't be possible. One thing you can do if you want to do some calculation, you can maybe write some code whenever you want to do some calculation, fetch the data, convert it into some other format, let's say centimeter format or something else, centimeter or meter or whatever, and then use it, then do the calculation. That is called as data transformation. To transform data in some format which is in whichever we require. No, Shashank. 6.01 doesn't make sense. 6.01 is not in mathematics. We don't write it as 01, na? But you can do it from your end if you want to. Okay, but in that case, you have to mention a dictionary also. Dictionary, I think you have to mention in the documentation that 6.01 represents 6 foot 1 inch. Ideally, it doesn't. I hope you are getting right. 0.01 is not 0.1, na? It will become 0.01 inch in mathematics as per the mathematics standard that we use. Got that? But in that case, it will create problems. Suppose let's say there is some person. Okay, maybe it depends on the data also. Okay, maybe say there is some player whose height is 6.01. Let's say you're not rounding off, you're just giving accurate height of each and every individual. Some person is 6.25, some person is 6.33. Okay, so if this kind of data is present in your code, in your data set, then you cannot write 6.01 for 6.1. I hope you're getting that, Shashank. Okay, so that is that class. Okay, same manner may I can write df.index also. Okay, df.columns I showed you already. Okay, so one thing, suppose let's say df.columns is there. Just a minute. Okay. Now suppose class, let's say I want to rearrange data. So I can do that using indexing. I can maybe store it in some other data frame. Let's say df1 is equal to df, and suppose let's say I want to rearrange. Let's say I want the number column in the starting. Let's say I want this, let's say age, height, or position column. I want at the end. Okay. So see this class. Got the difference, everyone? You can rearrange, no? This is what? Multi-column indexing. Okay, so using multi-column indexing, I just rearrange the columns. Okay, so that is there. Info we have covered. Now there is one thing, class. Let's say, see, we never try to modify the code data frame. Okay? So what I'm doing, I'm creating a new copy of that df dot. Okay. Now suppose class df2 is there. What I will do, I will write df2 dot set underscore index. Suppose let's say I want the name column to be the index column. Okay. So you can see I'm getting this. Name column is now has become the index column. But if I write df2 again, you can see it is not showing. Okay, so what happens? There are two things you can do. Either you can write df3 is equal to like this. Okay, it will store the data in df3. Or one more thing that you can do is, if you want to change the same data frame, so set underscore index name in place equal to true. So what happens in place? In place basically, in place does the changes in the same data frame. In place, by default, in place value is false. Will create a new data frame. Got this class, everyone, or not? Okay, so you can see we have created a new data frame df3. df2 is still same. df2 we have not modified yet. Okay. Now let me show you one thing, class. df3. Now if I write here df3 dot loc 0, so you can see it will not work. It will throw error. Can anyone tell me why? Why it is throwing error? Because we have changed the index now. Earlier the index were 0, 1, 2, 3. Now the names are getting index. Now the names are presented index. So in this case, what I can do is I can use this index df3 है ना, df3 dot loc this. So you can see I will get that same data df2 dot loc 0 c. Same thing we are getting in both of them. df2 में 0, 1, 2, 3 is there. df3 में names are there. Okay, but now there will be a problem with this thing. What problem will be there? Suppose let's say class. Normally, so what I can do, I can run a for loop for I in range of, let's say I want the first 10 records. Let's say, okay, I don't want to do slicing or anything, or I don't want the entire records. I just want some particular information. Okay, I just need the, let's say, I don't know, maybe position of first 10 people. Okay, so what I can do for I in range 10, print df position df2. So you can see it is working fine, but this same thing I won't be able to do in df3. Achha, wait, position in this case I can run directly. Okay, but suppose class, let's say I want to, let's say this df.index, let me show you, df2.index is there. Okay, and this is df3.index. See the difference. Okay, now if I want to run a for loop, okay, on df2.index, okay, I can do it because it is consecutive 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that is there. Okay, but on df3 I cannot do that directly because 0, 1, 2, 3 is not there. So there is another method class called as iloc method. What happens? Pandas, what pandas does, or DataFrame does, DataFrame stores a integer based locations. iloc means integer based location in the backend, which is not visible to us directly. So what I can do, I showed you if I write df3.log 0, it will throw error. So instead of this, I can do what? df3 dot ilog0. See, it will still work. It's same as df2 dot log0. Clear class everyone or not? What if two or more names are same? See, one thing, excellent question, Shashank. What happens now? Let me show you something. Yes, Rahil. I showed you this if you remember. Okay. What I can do, see. You can see index can repeat class. Multiple rows can have the same index. Multiple rows can have the same index. So what we do class in this kind of cases, let me show you. Now if I write a class P, C, it will give me all three of them. Index not necessarily, no, it is not necessary for the index to be unique. Same goes for column also. It is not necessary that the column will be unique. Okay. Now PC, this will happen. So in this case, class, what happens? P dot LOC. If I do, so 0, 1, 2, it will not work, right? Because index is not there, no? The index is there, but numerical index is not there. If I do C, so it will give me all three of them. But if I want, let's say 2, I can write ilog. So ilog will give me only one of them. So see, third position पे 0 है ना? Index 3 पर, index 2 पर, sorry. Got this class, everyone? Clear till here or not? Okay. Now let's proceed. Basic things, though, I think I have covered majorly. For example, wait, let me show this also. Suppose let's say your df3 is here. Now df3 mein what we did? We did set index to set the name column as the index data. Okay. What you can do? Acha, one more thing, class. See, df2 index column is not taken as part of the data. No. See, df3 it is showing 8 columns. It is not counting the name column. But in df2 it is showing 9 columns. Index column is not taken as part of the data. It is used for reference only. Okay. Now, when I was saying, df3 mein we saw df3 we created using set underscore index, right? Similarly, there is one more thing, df3 dot reset underscore index. Obviously, you have to pass that in place equal to true also in order to make the changes in the same data frame. Okay, but reset underscore index will reset. Matlab, what it will do? whatever index data is, whatever index column is there, that column will become part of the main data in case of reset underscore index. Got till here, class?